Just a year ago, Ghana's economy was in the ICU. The city had lost over 50% of its value. Inflation was running wild, and investor confidence had evaporated. Ghana was defaulting on debt, turning to the IMF for a $3 billion bailout, and scraping together reserves just to keep the lights on. Fast forward to now, May 2025, and suddenly the Ghanaian cedi is one of the best performing currencies in the world. In fact, it's appreciated by nearly 25% against the US dollar. Let that sink in. So what changed?
So what it meant was that Ghanaians had bought into the message that they believed that I would be able to reset things, and we use the word reset as one of our major campaign points, be able to reset things in order to build the confidence of our people in our democracy again. And so that responsibility is not lost on me. And so since 7th January, every step I've taken is meant to restore the faith of our people in our democracy and let them know that we can lead this country in a way different from what has been done in the past.
For those of you who do not know the reason behind cedis appreciating, and from the look of things, it's not coming down anytime soon. These Ghanaian analysts analyze and tell the whole world the reason why cedis is appreciating. On the other hand, dollars and other currencies are depreciating. Guys, in this video, you get to see everything. Let's get right into it. Let's watch.
So let's start with the Ghanaian cedi. Yes, the same currency that was once ranked among the world's worst is now one of the best performing currencies on the planet. It has gained nearly 25% against the US dollar in just a few short weeks. But that's just the beginning. Ghana is doing something bold, something we rarely see on the continent, but quite honestly, would love to see more of. It's nationalizing its gold through its Gold Bond initiative launched by President John Mahama, boosting its reserves and asserting control over one of its most valuable resources. The country has paused external debt repayments, buying time to stabilize and reset. And the central bank is tightened monetary policy, controlled inflation, and injected nearly $500 million into the market to calm the currency storm. Now, these aren't just random moves, right? This is strategy. This is survival. And maybe, just maybe, this is the start of a bigger shift. So today on The Breakdown, we're unpacking why the cedi is suddenly rising like a phoenix, what this rare economic moment really means, and what Ghana must do now to turn this surge into lasting transformation. Because the window is open, but it won't stay open forever.
You didn't have to brag that you have the men. You didn't have to brag that you have a solid economic management team. And yet within 5 months, you have been able to bring the dollar down from its knees from 17 cedis down to 10 cedis. And you then allow somebody to come and derail all the gains that you're making. You didn't need gold for oil. You didn't need plenty speeches. You didn't need all those rich contumely from. You didn't need all those spokespersons at the various ministries. And yet you brought down the price of fuel to a certain level where every Ghanaian is happy, to the point where you have instituted 15% reduction in transport.
Yes, Ghanaians are very happy. So let's talk about what actually happened, because this didn't come out of nowhere. Just a year ago, Ghana's economy was in the ICU. The cedi had lost over 50% of its value. Inflation was running wild, and investor confidence had evaporated. Ghana was defaulting on debt, turning to the IMF for a $3 billion bailout, and scraping together reserves just to keep the lights on. Fast forward to now, May 2025, and suddenly the Ghanaian cedi is one of the best performing currencies in the world. In fact, it's appreciated by nearly 25% against the US dollar. Let that sink in. So what changed? Well, here are the key moves behind the comeback. Number one, massive forex injection. The Bank of Ghana pumped $490 million into the market in April 2025 alone. That's the highest monthly intervention since 2022. Why does that matter? Well, more dollars in the system calms panic, boosts supply, and gives the cedi some breathing room. And secondly, the gold for oil and gold bond strategy. So here's what you need to know. In 2022, under then President Nana Akufo-Addo, Ghana launched an aggressive program to pay for oil using gold instead of dollars. So it was the beginning of the idea of nationalization, right, of our natural resources. But then President John Mahama, who just took office in January, is trying to take things a step further. He established Gold Bond, a new state-run gold aggregator to manage the nation's gold. Gold Bond, which sits directly under the Ministry of Finance, is the sole authority with exclusive right to buy, sell, weigh, value, and export gold and other precious minerals in Ghana. According to Gold Bond, they expect to double the annual inflows from small-scale gold production, which account for about a third of annual outputs, to $12 billion. Gold is now back in the cedi. That's a big shift, a game changer. 3, debt repayment suspension. Ghana has also restructured most of its debt, with the biggest one being the $3 billion IMF loan. It has suspended most of its debt payments for a while, keeping hard currency inside the country. It's controversial, sure, but it gives the economy fiscal space to stabilize. And number 4, tight monetary policy. The central bank held interest rates steady at a high 28%, even as inflation cooled. That high rate discouraged capital flight and helped restore faith in the city. And number 5, strong remittance inflows. The diaspora remittances are also playing a silent but powerful role here. With steady inflows of foreign currency from Ghanaians abroad, the pressure on the city erased even further. So when you combine all of that, nationalization of gold, forex injections, debt pauses, and tight policy, you get what we're seeing now, a rare moment of economic stability and even optimism in Ghana. These moves are backed by the IMF's program, yes, but Ghana isn't just sitting back and letting the IMF write the rules. It's trying to assert its own. And here's what that signals. This is not just about saving a currency. It's about restructuring the economic model from one that is reactive, aid-dependent, and dollar-hungry to one that is more sovereign, resource-backed, and self-determined. But let's be real. While these wins are impressive, they are fragile. Much of the city's strength is built on short-term fixes. So the gains we're seeing right now, yes, they're real, but they're not yet guaranteed. Which brings us to the most important question. How does Ghana cash in on these gains? Because if it doesn't act fast, it could all unravel.
In the colonial era, we had colonial masters, we had no say. And so they mined the gold, they took it away, they developed the palm plantations, took the palm oil away, they took the diamonds away, took everything away. And when we gained independence, Nkrumah warned us and said colonialism might have been defeated, but we're entering the era of neo-colonialism. They don't need to bring a governor to sit here, but they still would, from wherever the colonial headquarters is, control your resources and be able to still derive the benefits as if they had colonized you. And that exactly is happening. Post-colonialism, we didn't have technology, we didn't have capital, we didn't have the human resource. And so foreign companies come and take huge concessions and they sign it off for a pittance. And they run those, concessions to the benefit of the colonial metropolis. Today, I think that in Africa, we've developed a core of human resource that is capable of also taking advantage of some of these resources. We've developed the technology, we have the technology to be able to do whatever any of these big conglomerates are doing. And the capital is available in the world to mobilize, to be able to do the same things. And that is why recently we had a little issue which we have resolved with one of our mining companies whose lease had expired after 30 years. And it was our desire to take it over and use Ghanaian expertise to be able to also exploit that resource and let the benefits remain in our country.
Let's dig deeper into the shifts that are happening, why this moment matters. Because what we're witnessing in Ghana right now, no, this isn't just a lucky break. It's a carefully calculated economic reset, one that speaks to a deeper truth about power, sovereignty, and self-determination. It is also a complex interplay between bold domestic moves, global shifts, and strategic partnerships, some of them controversial. So let's start with gold, because gold is at the heart of this entire strategy. It will play a crucial role in sustaining this positive trajectory and in repositioning Ghana's economy for long-term growth. Ghana, which recently overtook South Africa to become Africa's largest gold producer, has always had gold, ample reserves of it. But for years, that gold has been extracted and exported with minimal benefit to the people. Now, with the gold bod, Ghana is saying we're taking complete oversight of this natural resource so we can better manage it to serve our people. We will combat leakages, illegal mining, and create a process to streamline production, value addition, and exports. Now, that's not just economics, that's ideological. It's a statement. Our resources will no longer just enrich foreign companies. They'll back our currency, power our economy, fuel our future, and it's working. In April alone, Ghana recorded the largest monthly volume within the last 28-month data window, generating a record $897 million in revenue. This puts Ghana on track to hit $6 billion in revenue this year, and the Ghana bod expects to double that number to $12 billion next year. Let's be honest, this kind of move is rare in Africa. We often hear about countries trying to diversify, but Ghana is doing something even more fundamental. It's trying to reclaim control.
And let them know that we can lead this country in a way different from what has been done in the past. And so to try to do this, one, the first and foremost was the cost of living and the general hardship that Ghanaians were going through. And so that has been one of the main focuses of the administration in the last 5 months we've been in office, focusing on stabilizing the economy, focusing on reducing hardship, cutting down expenditure, bringing more accountability into government, enacting a strong fight against corruption, introducing codes of conduct to guide leaders in political office. So these are all things that we have, focused on and fast-tracked in the last 5 months.
First, let's talk about the domestic policy at play here, which is tight, tough, and yes, tactical. Ghana's central bank didn't just cross its fingers. It moved with force. The Bank of Ghana held interest rates at a crushing 28%, even as inflation began to slow. That discouraged capital flight and helped restore market confidence. Then came the $490 million forex injection in April alone, an aggressive signal that the state was ready to defend the city. But here's what's key. These are not just economic moves. They are psychological ones designed to shift sentiment, stabilize panic, and say, Ghana is not spiraling. Ghana is fighting back. Second, the IMF factor. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room, right? Ghana's stabilization is happening under the watchful eye of the IMF. As part of a $3 billion bailout, Ghana had to meet strict conditions, cut deficits, restructure debt, and show signs of fiscal discipline. And that's exactly what it's doing. Debt service has been temporarily paused. Budget deficits are being narrowed. Domestic revenue efforts are stepping up. So yes, the IMF program is boosting investor confidence, but the question we need to be asking is, can Ghana maintain sovereignty while still playing by the IMF rules? Can it reform on its own terms? Or is it just surviving for now? Third, commodities and a global shift, right? Globally, a few things are also playing in Ghana's favor. Gold prices are strong, which helps support Ghana's gold bond strategy. Cocoa, despite recent volatility, is still a major forex earner. And global oil prices have cooled slightly, easing Ghana's fuel import burden. At the same time, a global slowdown in interest rate hikes from major economies like the US has taken pressure off emerging market currencies, creating space for the city to breathe. So yes, Ghana is doing the work for sure, but the global environment is also cooperating, at least for now. Lastly, confidence. Now, this might be the most underrated factor of all. Investor sentiment is shifting. Ghana's bonds are slowly regaining attention. The diaspora confidence is growing. And on the ground, people are starting to believe again. And hey, belief is power. Because at the heart of every currency is trust. For the first time in years, there's a sense of forward movement. But, and this is a big but, we have to stay clear-eyed. Because as impressive as all of this is, a lot of it is temporary. The debt pause is a short-term fix. The gold strategy is powerful, but it needs scale and accountability. And remittances can carry the economy forever. So the bigger picture is this. Ghana is at a crossroads. It's shown it can stabilize. Now, it has to transform. Because unless this moment is backed by real reform, real diversification, real industrial policy, real investment in people, then this comeback could fade just as quickly as it rose. So what would it take for Ghana to lock in these gains and build a future that doesn't depend on another IMF bailout?
Notice that the World Economic Order is rigged against Africa. We can increase processing overnight, but you have non-tariff barriers in exporting into some of the markets. Unless they bring a processor from outside, from Europe, who comes and sets up a processing plant and gets all the regulatory things in place. I mean, an indigenous person setting up a processing plant sometimes has a very big difficulty exporting finished products into the EU market and into the American market. But I must say that we've made progress from a low of about 25% processed cocoa.
Here's the bottom line. The city's rise is a powerful moment, but unless it leads to structural change, it'll be just that, a moment, gone in a flash. And Ghana can't afford to let that happen. Because this isn't just about exchange rates. This is about whether a country that has literally everything, gold, oil, cocoa, a young, vibrant population, and global goodwill, can finally stop surviving crisis to crisis and start building sustainable prosperity.
To me, I see this as a very good achievement for Ghana, seriously, and all I pray for is for them to maintain this. If not, it's gonna be like you're starting afresh again, you know. So my prayers for Ghana and the government entirely is for God to give them the wisdom and the strength to keep the good work. Yeah, this achievement, it should just keep coming. Like Ghana's city should keep appreciating, because as it's appreciating, Ghanaians are happy, like people who are earning in Ghana cities, and this is not just a good news for Ghana alone. It's an opportunity for other countries to come here and also work, earn in Ghana cities. Is it just dollars that will keep appreciating? Are we just gonna be running trying to get dollars? Why can't we have an African country, like an African currency that we can also run to and say, okay, we want to be earning in this or saving our money in this currency? So guys, what do you think about the video? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do also like, subscribe to the channel, share this video to as many eyes out there. I believe they'll watch and learn from it. I love you guys always. Bye bye.